Kadosh, good evening. We're now doing a quick chazara on what we learned yesterday. We're on Gimel Amud Bet, where we said, Tana, we learned in a baraita, ha'avim ve'aruchot are good just like matar, which means it's not on the exact same level, because it says shniot lamatar. You remember we already learned in Yevamot shniot la'arayot, which means it's secondary level. So also shniot lamatar means it's secondary level, but it's not the best. So the best is obviously matar. Second level below matar is going to be avim and ruchot. Avim are clouds and ruchot are the winds. So says the Gemara, hey chidami, what exactly is the case? So says the Gemara, yeah, Amar Ula Viteimar Rav Yehuda says Ula, and some people say it's Rav Yehuda. They said the Batar Mitra. We're talking about the Avim and the Ruchot, which comes after the rain. Meaning the clouds, right, and the winds, which come after the rain, are good, right, for the ground and for the sprouting forth of the trees and everything else, just like the rain. But it's still talking about after the rain. Yeah? Après. Yeah? You with me? Fine. Now it says, Lemeimra de Malyutai. Are you going to tell me that the winds and the clouds after the rain are something good? It's written, so it says in Devarim over there that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give avak ve'afar. He's going to give the rain of your land to become avak ve'afar. What does that mean? Says the name of Yehuda, right? He says, and some people say it's of Yehuda, lezikat batamitra. We're talking about the wind after the matar, which means the wind after the rain brings up avak ve'afar. So that's part of the curses, right? But remember, it's part of the curses. So don't tell me it's something good, it's something negative. So answers the Gemara, la kashya. It's not a question. Ha de'at anicha, ha de'at yarazya. What does that mean? It all depends whether it's coming gently or it's coming very strong, very harshly. What does that mean? If it's going to come gently, right? So then it's actually going to be very good. Okay, that's good. That's nicha. Yeah, that's nicha. Nicha means it's very, very good. But if it's coming razia, which means it's coming bekoach, it's coming very, very, with a lot of strength, then it's not going to be good. Right? If you remember yesterday, we spoke about whether it's a new answer or the same answer, right? But what do we say? That it's whether it's going to bring up the avak and the afar or not. So therefore, according to the Pashtut, the way that Rashi learned it, which means without the V by tema, that's why the V by tema by us is with round brackets. Whenever you have round brackets, we don't read them. We only read the brackets, which are the square brackets, okay? Some people call them parentheses, whichever one you want. But basically what happens is that if you're not going to be gorestat, meaning you don't have the girsa, it comes out that you need two conditions for it to be good. First of all, it has to come benichuta, benicha, which means very softly, gently. Plus, it has to be that it's not bringing up any avak ve'afar. If it's missing one of those components, so obviously it's going to become negative, okay? Ve'amar Rav Yehuda, and Rav Yehuda comes and he says, Zika de bata mitra kemitra. The wind which comes after the rain is like the rain. So that's a shniya lamatar, just like we said before. Eva de bata mitra kemitra. Also the clouds which are after the rain are like the rain. Again, it's like it. It's not the exact same level, but it's secondary to it, just like we mentioned above. Shimsha de bata mitra kitre mitra. When you have the sun shining forth after the rain, that is going to help like two rains. Meaning, until now we had the rain. The below the rain was the wind and the clouds after the rain. Now the sun is above the rain. It's twice the rain, which means that it's a higher level of the rain. Okay? It says Daled Amud Aleph on the top. Urpila. Yeah, he comes now and he says like this. Sorry. Right, we continue. Lemiute mai, what is this coming to exclude? He says, Lemiute to exclude Gilhe de Lelia, the Shimsha de Bene Karcha. Right, Karche. What does that mean? When you have the barak, the streak of light, which is going to be in the nighttime after the matar, after the rain, it's not going to help. Or shimsha de bene kircha, which means sometimes you have it that it's cloudy, and you have the sun's rays which are coming through the clouds. So when you have these sun's rays which are coming through, right, the clouds, he says it does not help, and that's why it's written it's coming lemiute. So therefore, it's coming to exclude these two things. Okay?
It's covered by the
yeah. Now we're continuing for today. The Amar Rava, and Rava says, Talga leture. right? Sorry, Amar Rava says, Ma'ale talga leture kechamisha mitre le'ara. So he comes and he says like this, do you know that snow helps the mountains just like 5 times, right, that it helps the land, right, the karka, which means just like the rain helps the land, 5 times that amount is the snow to the mountains. So until now, let's get it one more time. We just mentioned before, we had matar. Matar is very good, whether it's for the karka or for the smachim, for the whatever is going to sprout forth. We said the clouds and the wind after the rain is very good, but it's secondary. So it's one level below the rain. Then we said the sun is double rain. So if the sun comes and shines forth after, right, the rain, that's double the power of what the rain just affected, what the rain just did. Now we have something which is 5 times. What is the 5 times? If you have the snow to a mountain, that's 5 times the amount than what it is like the rain to what we just mentioned right now, to the rain, to the ground. So he says, Shneimar, it's a pasuk. The pasuk says, right, this is the gvurot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Yov Lamed Zayin Be Avav. It says over there, Ki lasheleg yomar heve aretz vegeshem matar vegeshem mitrot uzo. So here it says, one more time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to the sheleg, he says to come down to go on the aretz, to go down to the land. And the sheleg is like, right, Ki lasheleg yomar, to the sheleg he's saying, it's going to be geshem matar geshem mitrotot. So you have 5 times geshamim. You have geshem, matar, geshem, mitrot. Now mitrot is lashon rabim. So ever since it said geshem twice, because it said geshem matar geshem mitrot. So geshem is once, matar is once, geshem is 3 times, mitrot is double, like matar, but mitrot double. So therefore, no, mitrot is matar, mitrot. Mitrot is matar in double, in plural.
Oh, plural,
right, is mitrot. So he says, so therefore you see from here that the sheleg, he's telling him that it's going to be like 5 times of the matar. The Amar Rava, now Rava comes and he says, talga leture, sheleg, right? Remember the talga is a sheleg, right? Just like sheleg, right? Shalga, right? Talga. So the talga is sheleg, is good leture for the mountains, okay? Mitra razia leilane. If it's going to be strong rains, that's good for the trees, for ilanot, ilane. Mitra nicha, the rain which is gentle, lepede is good for the wheat and for the fruits. Okay? Daled amud aleph on the top. Urpila, so afilu lepartzida de tute kala mehanile. When it comes now, urpila is geshem dak, very thin rain, meaning it's not now on how it's coming down harsh, right? Harsh or benichuta or very gently. Now we're talking about the rain itself. It's like a drizzle. It's like it's very, very, very dark. It's very thin. So therefore, that's going to be good even for a garin, right? Partzida is a garin. A garin is like a seed, which is the tute kala mehanil, which is basically going to be underneath a regev afar. So it says over here. Okay, Rabbeinu Gershom says it's harsh. So that means, what is the kala? So the kala, the tute kala, tute is underneath, right? Tute is tachat, right? And kala is whether it's going to be karka kashe, like a harsh, a strong piece of earth. So therefore they come and they say that what is exactly urpila? My urpila, uru pile. It's an acronym for sitmu et sedakim, which means close the cracks which are in the ground. Because when the garinim, right, when it's going to come and it's going to sprout forth, so therefore, right, that's what he's saying now, it's going to be the, so uru, it's like it's you're closing off of this, that's what urpila is. Okay, so that's what he's just explaining the word. Okay, fine. So this is until now the entire concept of whether we're going to talk about the partzida to tute kala, which means that this type of soft rain, it's mamash. It's not only that it's going gentle, it's actually something soft, so it's actually going to be good even for mamash, anything which is underneath a thick piece of ground, right? Or even under a stone, there's a difference of opinions exactly what is the exact translation, but it's going to actually help in such a scenario. Okay, now we are going to continue with the Amar Rava, okay? Because the Amar Rava, these are all sayings of Rava, correct? The Amar Rava, first of all, you said that the sheleg, right, that the snow helps like 5 times like the rain. Then Rava said, snow helps for rain, this helps for the trees, this helps, right, each one. Now he comes and he's going to mention about Surba Merabanan, right, which is basically about Talmidei Chachamim, right, which they're young students. Those are the Surba Merabanan. Okay, now what is the connection because of what we just mentioned beforehand, where it spoke about the Partzida de Tutekala? Okay, so therefore we're going to now connect to what we just mentioned before. The Amar Rava, and Rava says, Hi Surba Merabanan, this Surba Merabanan, this youngster of the rabbis, Dami le Partzida de Tutekala. He's like a Gad'in. He's like the seed which is underneath the ground. The Kevan de Navat, because once he breaks forth from the ground to sprout forth, right? So too he's going to go forth, which means it's like, right, when you have an egg, right? What happens when you have an egg and all of a sudden it breaks? What happens? All of a sudden, once it breaks through, right, whether we're talking about the chick or whatever it is, what happens? It just goes out. The same thing. The Tzurba Merabanan, the second that they have their name go out in front of them because they were learning many years, and all of a sudden they broke forth. So therefore, the exact same thing. They're like this Parsida Tutikala that they just break forth, and then their name is going to continue going in the world in order to continue. Now, the rest of the Gemara is again Rava, but it's going to be connected to the Tzurba Merabanan. It's not connected to what we spoke about before, whether it's the sheleg or the rain or everything like that. But that's just the way the Gemara is that once we already mentioned that Tzurba Merabanan, because of this statement of Parsida de Tutekala, which that was connected to the rain, right? So therefore, we continue with another one of Tzurba Merabanan, and we're going to continue going with also the concepts of the rabbis. Okay, and here until here we're going to stop.